Like,
Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started. My name is Khalid Smith. I'm the founder of the Greenhouse Foundation. Our core focus is job creation and economic growth. So we help small businesses, we help them scale so they can employ staff. And today we're going to be covering customer services. So I'm going to share my screen, make it nice and big. There we go. There is a Q&A right at the bottom, so you can ask some questions. I will stop every now and then as I go through it. And I will leave some time at the end to ask questions. So customer services. So we're going to be covering the basics of customer services, understanding internal and external customers, and also strategies for handling complaints, handling customers. We're going to go through the process, which is very, very important for any business. So why is customer services so important? Because customers are the lifeline of your business. You need clients not only to purchase from you, you need clients to build and share impact on your services with others so they can build your brand. They can refer your products and your services. They can establish if you are a credible business or not, right? And we're going to be covering the very basics today, but it is more of a standard that you're going to put in your business. And that standard goes up and down. So it is very important for you to understand that it's not one person's role within your business. Every person in your business is involved with customer services. So we're going to define it. It's about the solutions, right? And the experience they feel when they enter your business, right? They refer to it as the moment of truth. So if you can see your business, a person moves through your business, irrespective of the service you offer. They come through the front door, they meet the security, they meet maybe the receptionist, they meet the finance person. Anywhere along that journey that someone takes within your business, they're meeting different people. But this is the challenge, that anywhere along that line, if they meet someone in your business where they feel, you know what, they haven't been treated very fairly, they haven't been treated very professionally, what happens is they make up their mind about your business. And once their mind is made up, that is it. You are not a very professional business. Their mind is made up, irrespective who that person is within your organization. So they are representing your organization. And it's very, very important to understand this concept that they're not going to say it's this person that is not professional. They're going to say it's your business that is not very professional. And if it's someone that is not from South Africa and they go back home to the UK or Australia, and what are they going to say? Are they going to say that it's this individual, that it wasn't very professional, that treated me poorly? Or are they going to say it's this company? Or are they actually going to say in South Africa, yes, the service level, this delivery is not very good, not very professional. So yes, so you are representing your country. So understanding this is very, very important. And it's not only when you look at that level of customer services, It moves up and down. So if they go into a hotel, right, and the level of service is very good, or they go into a bank and as soon as you enter, someone asks you, would you like a cappuccino? Can you please come and sit down and let's see us how we can assist you? Wow, what's going to happen after that? Right, whatever service you can receive thereafter is now, not going to be that good, right? So when you look at businesses these days, that they are so competitive, so that level is increasing all the time. You want to compete on service, not on price, because here's the thing. When you look at that bank, you get offered a cappuccino when you come in. They guarantee the phone will ring a maximum of twice before someone picks up and answers your call. Isn't that amazing? It is. Is it cheap? No, it is definitely not cheap, right? But people don't mind paying. They don't mind paying for a quality service. This is why we say, right? It is better to compete on service, right? Because customers are willing to pay a premium. Customers is not a department, it's an attitude. And it's a standard that you put within your business as a CEO, as a director of your business. You determine the standard for your organization. If you walk into a business, someone is sitting behind a desk, you're walking in, you don't work there. You clearly either a client, but you're walking in and someone is sitting behind the desk and they get up from what they're doing. They come around the desk and they ask you, welcome, how can I assist you? Right? That is very professional. If you meet five people and you're walking down the corridor and five people pass you, each of those five people will stop and greet you. Good morning, how are you doing? Good morning, how are you doing? It is a standard that you put, right, on your business. And everyone that is involved need to understand that they are involved with customer services, and this is the standard they want to put in their business, right? And this is what we're going to be going through, understanding that there is internal and external clients. So we're saying the people you work with is very important. How you communicate with them, how you treat them. It is nothing worse. You go into a restaurant and the floor manager is shouting and disrespectful, to the employees. I mean, if that's the way they treat their staff, how are they going to treat me? So we're saying that it's important when you're communicating with staff, when you're communicating with the people around you within your organizations, those internal customers, it's important because as a business owner, you don't always understand what the client's needs are, what their challenges are. It might be a driver, it might be the security person that is there, right? Anyone within that organization that has contact with customers, you want to be able to engage with them within your organization to improve services, to improve the quality of services within your business, right? So that is when you understanding how you're communicating internal and external clients is very, very important. And we're going to be covering in a little bit later also how to handle conflict in an organization and how to handle difficult clients as well, which we'll cover in a short while. I don't see the questions, but I will stop every now and then just to have a look. Let me just check quickly. Define standard levels. Absolutely. Standard level of customers received as opposed to supervisors, employees, right? Is it only the director owner that defines the standard? Absolutely not, right? Absolutely not. But as an owner, as a business manager, you're going to enforce the standard. So, because at the end of the day, you're accountable for everything that happens within your organization. But, if you're saying, what, this is the level of service that we deliver in our organization, but you as the business owner can speak any which way you want with your staff, then it's obviously um, um, uh, that is not going to then filter down to every single person. So yes, if you are the business owner, you lead from the front and you need to follow through with complaints. And this is why maintaining that standard, maintaining that standard is really up to the directors. And when we go, remember, we are a consultancy firm. So we come into businesses and we assess the level of customer services. But when we speak to directors and we ask them, you know what, how is the level of your service? Oh, no, no, it's very professional. We are the best. We make the best pizza, right? We make the best pizza in the world, right? We offer an exceptional service. This is from the owner and of the business. Oh, exceptional. Our clients are extremely happy. But this is not where we get feedback. This is not where we get feedback. We will firstly speak with all the staff. Right. So if there's 5 staff, that is the driver, we will speak with them and understand, is your clients really happy? Right. And then we're going to get feedback from them. Most often than not, it's slightly different than the owner's perception of that quality of service and professionalism of service that they receive. And then what we do, give me your 5 clients. Give me your top clients. Right, randomly, you just give me for 5 clients. Show me your list. Okay, I will take 5 of those clients and I will contact those 5 clients and I will ask them, well, what is your perception of this business? You work with this business, you've used their service, you've used their product. How do you feel about their service? And they're going to tell me, oh, it was average. It was very good. It was exceptional. It wasn't very good. The service is actually not. They're going to tell me, and that is where we get feedback, right? And most often than not, is not what is in that director's mind, that perception of what his business really is, right? So yeah, so I hope that answers your question. Yes, but you put the standard on what is okay and what is not okay. Okay, so there is the 10 commandments. We will go through a few of them, which is very important. If you look at corporate companies, they spend millions on understanding what clients want, what their needs is. So they'll go and experience it. They'll go and experience it. Tell me what you feel. How does it taste? Right? How do you feel afterwards? They get that feedback because that allows them to tweak, to tweak, to tweak, to tweak your business, to tweak your business. And remember, we are competing with other businesses. So if you offer something that is going to hit the nail on the head every single time, this is giving me exactly what I want. This is giving me exactly what I want, right? You're going to have a lot of repeat business, and that is what you want. It costs money. It costs money to market your business, to get clients. So you want to retain them and you want them to bring new clients to you. So understanding what they need is one of the key things. And that means you need to be a very good listener. You need to understand what it is that they want, right? What is valuable? How can they change? There need to be that engagement. And most people think, you involved with your business, you understand your products, your processes and systems, but someone that's from outside, they don't know. They don't know your process. They don't know your systems. They don't know how things work. They just have a problem and they want this to be fixed, but they don't understand it. So the important thing for you as a business owner is to simplify things enough so that someone from outside understand how things work here, right, within your business, right? And always, yes. I'm going to see what I can do to help you. That is what we're saying, professional customer service. I'm going to see what I can do to help you, right? And if things go wrong, yes, I apologize that this had to happen. It is very difficult for employees, even business owners, managers, to go through the process of how to deal with clients. So we're going to especially difficult clients because irrespective of the business you're in, you're going to find clients that is not happy with it. You cannot please everyone. There's going to be someone, no matter which industry, you're going to find someone that is not very happy, right? It might not even be related in any way to your product or service, but they just had a bad day. And now you are there right in front of them and they are going to give it to you. And the reason why it's so important for you to be able to deal with it, we are in the social media age. People share everything. They're with their phones every single day, and everything that happens, the phone needs to be there, it needs to be shared, and the whole world is watching. And this is why it is so important, because it can be damaging to your business. It can be damaging to your business. It can also be very beneficial to your business if your service is very, very good. So that is a double-edged sword. It cuts both ways. Not only can your business scale and grow very, very quickly through social media, but it can also be damaged and also can go down very, very quickly. And remember, customer services is about building your brand. And it's any business. It is the most critical part of a business. You're building your brand. You're building your brand. And if you look at the reason why you do that, right, when you eventually sell your business, right, they're going to look at your financials. They're going to look at how profitable you are. This is what investors look at. And they're going to look at how credible is your brand. What is people saying about you? That's it. That determines the value of your business. So when we look at businesses, we are very, very interested in your clients. So we assess businesses, we look at your clients, right? And make it easy for them to give you feedback. Make it easy for them. Don't make it difficult. Make it easy for them and reward them. Reward them for their feedback, because you're going to use it to improve your processes, to improve your systems. Right. We're moving on. Okay. So difficult clients, and we're going to go through this. We're going to go through the process of handling difficult clients. And when you look at call centers, customer service centers, when they speak to you and you have a complaint, hold it, we're going to put you through to the complaints department and they're going to handle this. Why do you think companies do this? Because they are trained to go through this process with you to be able to handle clients in a professional manner. And the reason why they train for it, because the normal response would be, and you might have heard of this, is fight or flight. So when there's conflict between two people, you're either going to fight, right? Or you're going to run. Those are the two options. Those are the two normal responses, the two human responses, is to fight or flight. So either this is not me, it's not my fault, right? Or who's to blame? It's your fault, or is it my fault? And there's going to be a fight. And one of the key things we look, and the reason why we look at how to handle complaints, because they are trained to handle it in a very short space of time, 2-3 minutes and it's handled. And this is what we're going to go through with you guys right now. How to handle it in a short space of time. Why? Because you can have an argument about who's right and who's wrong for literally in half an hour. A half an hour. And what happens that is very, very stressful. At the end of the day, that client is more angry than when they came. You are more stressed and angry. There's no win-win there. If there's no one wins in that scenario, right? So you want to handle it as quickly and professionally as possible, which is why we're going to go through the process of handling it. So what is the first thing? When a client is not happy, right? The first thing that they want, is acknowledgement that I have an issue. They want you to listen to them, right? They want you to listen to them. And they want you to acknowledge that they have an issue. This is my issue that I have. I wasn't happy with this. I wasn't happy with this. I wasn't happy with that. Whatever the issue is, they want someone to listen to them. They want someone to listen to them. And you might be the right person, you might not be the right person. It is irrelevant who the person is. They are speaking to you. They're coming into an organization and you are the person they speak to. So you're going to handle it, because what happens if someone is angry about something and they're speaking to someone in an organization and that person says, hold it, I'm not the right person to speak to. I'm not in charge. I'm just here on the desk. Or I'm just here, I'm just the security person. I'm just the admin person. I just do this. I'm not involved with that. Just hold on. I'm going to get you the right person. And then the next person comes, you need to speak to this person. And you start speaking, I'm angry about this and this. Hold it. Actually, you need to speak to the manager. You need to speak to this person. And you go from one person to the next, to the next, to the next. Isn't that frustrating? Isn't that frustrating? We move one person to the next, right? And eventually you get to this person that you need to speak to and and you just smack the person because you're so angry. You're like a pressure cooker and you're just getting angry, more and more angry, right? This is what it does. So the first person you speak to, that is the person that is gonna handle it. And this is how you handle it, right? You're gonna listen. You're gonna thank them, acknowledge them, acknowledge them. I hear what you're saying. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. You're acknowledging they have an issue. That is the first thing. The second thing you're going to do, if they are very, very angry, you're going to ask them an open-ended question. An open-ended question, which means they cannot respond with a yes or a no. Open-ended. Why? What does it do? It allows them, they're using a different part of their brain. Now they need to actually think logically. What actually happened? Why do I actually feel that? Now I need to explain. So what that does immediately, it takes them down 1 or 2 notches. Immediately, just by asking that open-ended question, they're going to give you a response and they're going to say, you know what, this is why I feel that. This is why I'm saying, this is why this happened, this is why. And they're going to give you a whole long story. You're going to listen. You're going to listen. That's valuable information for you as a business owner. So you want to get that information down. You want to get it down. This is it. No, and here's the difficult part, as we mentioned, whatever they say, whatever it is that they're going to say, I'm sorry that had to happen. How long does that take? Now you're asking yourself, but what if I'm not right? What if it's that person's fault, right? What if it's not me, right? Irrespective, you taking responsibility. I'm sorry this had to happen. Remember, what you want is an outcome. What you want as an outcome, you want when that person to leave, that person's going to feel a little bit better, right? You want to handle it in a shorter space of time, right? And one of the things we ask ourselves when there's conflict situations like in an organization, I guarantee you there will be, if not, there is what it's costing you. It's a question we ask yourself. What is it costing you? And it does cost, right? Stress. Oh, stress is a killer. So there is a cost to everything. There's a cost to everything. So we ask ourselves, what is it costing you? And just to say a few words, I'm sorry, irrespective if I know it's not really relating to me, it's not really my fault, it's not the company's fault, right? But I apologize. I'm sorry that this had to happen to you, right? And after that, immediately, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to see what I can do. I'm not saying anything. I'm going to see what I can do. I'm not promising anything, but I'm going to see what I can do. It's important to use those words. I am going to see what I can do for you. That's it. That is it. No matter how angry that person is, right? They're going to feel, you know what, firstly, they listen to me, right? I explained my issue. They apologize to me, right? Sincerely, and they're going to do something to help me, and you're going to follow up. So this is the process. And when we do this, right, face to face, we run these workshops, right? We are also an accredited QCTO organization, academy. So we run this training in business. We do it face to face, right? And we do it in groups of three. We do it in groups of three. So we have one person that is angry, we have one person that is an employee, and we have a referee, and we go through the process over and over. The person, we create a scenario, and they need to deal with it. And you'll be surprised. We do this literally, like we do it 5 minutes before lunch, or sometimes 5 minutes before tea. And if you don't get it right, you don't have tea, you don't have your tea, or you don't have your lunch. And you'll be surprised how difficult it is for your staff to actually go through this process. So if you don't get it right, you stop and you start all over again and you try again, because we want the sequence. We want that sequence. And remember what the sequence is: acknowledgement, number one. Number two, you're asking an open-ended question. Number three, you apologize, right? Number four, right? You're going to see what you can do to solve it. And number five, you're going to follow up, right? That is the process. That is the process. And we do it till we get it right. So we practice over and over and over until we get it right. And if you don't get it right, there's no tea and coffee for you, right? Or there's no lunch for you. And this is why it is so important. You want to practice it, because you want, when you're in that situation, you want to be able to do it automatically and resolve the issue in that way. And there is managers and directors that cannot do this. They struggle with this. It's not that easy to do. Let me just check if there's any questions. The composure waiters, particularly Woolies, portrays when dealing with different. Absolutely, they train for it. They train for it. How you have a difficult, how they deal with it. It doesn't affect me. You're going to deal with it in a professional manner. Why? Because others are looking. Others are looking at how you handle. You know what? This person was managed it very professionally. That person wasn't right. You know, that it was that person's fault, but the way that they handled it, very, very professional. I want to do business with this company because they value people and they treat people with respect and very professional, right? That is what you want. Okay. We're moving on. Building rapport through communication. And this is very, very important. It is not only what you say, it's the tone that you use, it is your body language. And it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating when you walk into a business and you're speaking to someone and that person is sitting on a phone, not even looking at you, and they're busy on the phone. So I don't know why this is, especially young people. So can we just clear this up right now? If you are on a phone, and you're engaging with someone, right? Firstly, that is extremely disrespectful. And it is never okay to have your phone there when you are in a discussion or if someone is speaking to you, because if the phone is there, firstly, you cannot answer it, because if you answer that phone while you're engaging with someone, that you effectively saying this phone is more important than you. That's what you're saying. You're not important. You're not important. This phone is more important than you. So that is extremely disrespectful, and that is not customer services. So when you're engaging with someone, whether it's an internal client, remember we're saying internal, your staff or not, there's no phone. It's completely off. It's not on the table even, because some will leave it on the table and they will carry on with their discussion. But you know what? If that phone rings, I'm going to answer it. It's not ringing now, so it's fine. I'm speaking to you, but it's there. If it rings, I'm going to answer it. So it's not there. It is off, because you are there right now. You are there. Right. And this is something important. You want that person. And my father-in-law, right, he's a doctor. He's 89. He's 89. He's still practicing. He's still practicing. And I come in, many times I come in and I download information on his computer. So I go there now and then. And then when I come there, there's this long queue. There's a long queue. They're going right through the surgery, coming outside the front door. I come in quickly and I'm going to the computer and I'm watching him. But you must remember now, he's doing this for 50 years. Imagine you're doing something for 50 years. And I listen to the way that he's speaking to his clients. And I'm thinking, you're talking so slowly, he's finding out what is the, how is the kids, what are they up to, he's engaging like he's got all the time in the world, right? He's got all the time in the world. And this is something very, very important, because the thing is, it's understandable people are waiting outside. And when they're waiting outside, they're thinking, wow, can't this be quicker? But the thing is, when you are in there and you're sitting in that seat, you want to feel, that I'm a king, I'm important, and I'm going to take my time. I'm not rushing. I'm relaxed with you, and I'm making you feel that way, like very, very important. And I'm not rushing. I'm taking my time with you. And this is his way. And he's obviously been doing this, for more than 50 years. But it's something very, very important, is how do you make people feel when you speak to them, irrespective of your role, irrespective of your role. And some people might think, well, I'm not involved with customers. I'm at the back end. I'm just in finance or whatever. But the thing is, your body language is important. The way and having that smile. I remember we were working. I was working for one of the organizations. It was a long time ago. I was working for a company, and we had this long corridor where we used to walk through, and there was offices on either side with glass. And we would all look, when our managing director used to come in, she used to walk down and we used to look at her expression on her face, right? She didn't say anything. She didn't say anything. When she walked in and you looked at that face, we knew we're going to have a very hard day. We're going to have a hard day, because the body language just gave off this message. You don't want to mess with me today. Not today, not today. So we would do this, and sometimes she would walk in and very, very jolly, had a smile on her face and a great mood. Oh, it's going to be a great day today. You understand? So we are giving messages. You're giving messages with our body language. This person is not really interested in what I have to say. He's not saying anything, but his body language is telling me I'm not really interested in what you have to say. Can we understand this? So you maintaining eye contact. When you're speaking to someone, you are looking at them. You are facing them. You are facing them. So and They call it mirroring. They call it mirroring. So you could have more or less the same body posture. Why? Because if you're speaking to someone that has more or less the same body posture as you feel more comfortable. And this is what it's about. You feel more comfortable speaking to someone that is facing you rather than someone that is sitting on the side like this, sitting on their phone. Okay, what do you have to say? Please tell me what it is that what's the issue and how can I help you? I'm not really interested, right? I'm busy with other things. But if they are facing you, they are facing you, they are looking at you, they are engaging, and they're acknowledging, yes, I understand what you are saying, and you are looking at them. That is what you want. So I want you to understand how important that body language is, how important listening and smiling, just smiling, having that attitude. It is very, very important to have that and put those boundaries in place for your staff when they're engaging. That is why your customer relationships person is always that very high energy, chatty, happy person, happy person that is going to speak to people because people love engaging with people. That is positive, that is smiling, and that is listening to them and empathetic. And I feel like they really care, right? That is what we want. So understanding a little bit of interpersonal skills is important, right? Having that patience to listen to people and basic respect, right? So remember, in all organizations, there is conflict situations, people working. So we're talking about internal clients, internal people. So as a business owner, your job is to resolve it. And the reason why you do this internally, remember, you're going to be improving service delivery. It's top priority for any organization, improving service delivery. Government specifically, all government departments, because they're not for profit. So their main focus is service. They want to improve service. So it's priority. It's priority. So how do you improve it? You improve service delivery by understanding, by engaging with the customer. Are you happy? What can we do to change? And where does that come from? It comes from the staff. If it comes from people in your organization that is engaging, it doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter who they are, but they are engaging. What is it that we can give you that is going to improve? And one of the companies that I use the example, they do laundromat services. So what happens is your laundry, when you're putting it through these machines, these industrial machines, they damage it. They damage the sheets and they damage the curtain. So what they do is they have a sewing machine and they will touch up the seams. They will do a little bit of work on it and try and fix it. And that is valuable. That is valuable. And where does that come from? It comes from someone that goes and delivers it. So it's a delivery guy. And what is the delivery guy? He goes and delivers, but he has a little chat with the client. How are you? How are you doing? Right? And are you happy with it, with the products and the service? And through that, the client says, you know what? But 5 of the stuff that we came through, when we gave it to you, it was fine. We got it back, it was damaged. It was damaged. Not really happy about that because now I had to throw like 5 of those sheets away because we can't use it anymore. So I'm not really happy about that. But he's speaking to the driver because the driver is the one dropping it off by the client. So what does the driver do with that information? Firstly, he took the time to engage with the client. He didn't just drop it off. How are you doing? And blah, blah, blah. And he dropped and have a little chat with the client, find out how the client is doing, right? And he had that engagement. He had that engagement. The client gave him that information. What happened with that information? He took that information back. Why? Because there was a session and he was involved in the session. He was involved in the session, in the strategic session of the organization because he's part of the organization. Was he a supervisor? Was he a manager? No, it was the driver. but he's involved. He's involved in that. And that valuable piece of information came from that driver. And what do they do with that information? They managed to improve it. They said, you know what, we can get a machine there. We can get a machine. What's it going to cost for them? Have a machine. It is a machine. Can you sew? Yes, I can sew. Great. Can you fix a lot of this? Can you fix? And this is how it happened. This is how it happened. So when you look at those contracts, the client is extremely happy. You know what? If I take this, and remember who they're competing against, Bidvest. So imagine you competing against Bidvest. Bidvest is a massive company. They're a massive company. When I say how massive, during the water crisis, because we're engaging with this client during the water crisis, right? And one of the major costs in that business is water. And Bidvest, listen, this is what they did. They bought a dam. They bought a dam. Who does that? Who has enough money to buy a whole dam? I just bought the dam. There's a water crisis, so we just bought the whole dam. How do you compete against that? Right. How do you compete against that? Service. You can't compete on cost, but you can compete on service. You know what? Yeah, maybe I get a better price through Bidvest, but they're not gonna take the time, to sew up my sheets if it breaks. But you offering that. So even though I'm paying a bit more, I'm gonna stay with you, and I'm not moving to Bidvest. And they came to me many, many times. They asked me. They said they'll give me a discount rate. They can do it for less than what you're going to do it. But I'm going to stay with you because you're doing this for me. You're doing this for me. You're engaging with me, right? I enjoy doing work with you because even if it's late and I have a small assignment, Bidvest, you know what? Their machines are massive. Their machines is massive. So they take a big lock at a time, but they're not going to do a small load for me. It's not worth it. They're going to use a lot of chemicals to do it. They're not going to do a small load, but I need this now, and you're going to do it for me, right? Um, and that is what clients want, and that is how they retain clients, and they refer you to someone else. You know what? Use this company. You trust me. This is the service I've got from them. They really went out of their way for me. And they will do the same for you. Here's another client that I will refer to you. This is what we want. This is what we want, right? To improve, making sure they are satisfied, right? And they literally want to help you, and there is value through those connections, because you must remember, a lot of clients, if you have a database of clients, most companies don't leverage sufficiently off it, but you have to leverage. You leverage off the clients and the people that you have. Why? Because they know what you do, especially if you're offering value, and you need to use them not only to refer, but you need to reward them. You need to reward them, right? They need to be value through that relationship. So you're going to reward them. You're going to share opportunities with them to retain them, because it's cheaper to retain than to get new ones. It's very difficult to replace a client, costs money to replace, easier to retain, and offer better customer services. Okay, metrics, tracking, information, right? It is critical, especially in today's age. It's data driven. Everything is data driven. You'll be surprised how much data they collect of you. Even if you go into a shopping center, you go into a mall, you walk into Woolworths, they are literally tracking your movements. They're tracking your expression when you stop you're stopping at a pair of jeans, and they're looking at your expression, and you are happy or you are sad or you have a frown, and they're tracking that data. It's crazy. It is crazy how AI is actually tracking the amount of data every single person and their reactions, right? Every single day. They are sitting with so much data. What do they do with it? What do they do with the data? They use the data to improve offerings, improve services, improve color. So now you're not very happy. No one is actually going there in the store. It's not getting a lot of attention. Maybe they don't like that. Maybe they don't like that. Let's change it. Let's change the color. Let's change the design. Let's put something else there. They are using it to improve service, to give you what you want. That is and that is the purpose. So there is massive CRMs, right? Some of them are free that you can use. The power of a CRM is there to maintain relationship, maintain feedback, make sure things are resolved, things are improved. And that is why you have a system, because it's difficult to track after time. It's difficult to track. You lose track, especially if it's 2 or 3 people. This is why when you look at KFC, if you go to KFC and they fill out the little form, what happens? If you fill out a complaint form, you get a free burger, right? You get a free burger, you get a free kernel meal. Why? Why do you get a free meal? You've given their burger, you've given a comment, you've said the chips is cold. You said the chips is cold. That's it. You say the chip, I wasn't happy. The chips was cold. It feel like the chips wasn't really fresh. I wasn't happy with it. Great. You're going to get a free meal. Who pays for the meal? Remember, the complaints goes to head office. The complaints goes to head office. Who pays for the meal? The franchisee. Where you bought it. They're going to pay for it. They're going to pay for it. Yes, they have to. Someone has to pay. So they're going to pay. They're going to pay. But they're happy to pay. Why? Because, and what happens if they have 10 people that complained about the chips being cold? What do you think is going to happen if there's 10? Now you're giving 10 meals away for free. It's now costing you money. What are you going to think? What do you think you're going to do? You're going to figure out why the chips is cold. You're going to speak to everyone. Are you packing the chips? How long is that chip standing there? There's a problem. Something needs to be fixed. You're gonna fix the issues, and this is what you want. You want to make sure that you're using the data, you're using the information to change the processes, to improve the efficiency, to improve the performance, and you're gonna fix it because it's now costing you money. Right? It's now costing you money. And you want to make sure that the client is now happy. Great. When they come back again, you give that free meal. Are you happy with the chips now? Yes. Much better. Thank you. Right? You want to get that feedback from that client to make sure that it was resolved. That is why when you complain, you have a neutral person that comes and they ask you, was your complaints resolved? And the reason why you have a neutral person, it's another person, right? It's not the person that was involved. It's another person, another department. So you're going to check. You might not take everyone, but you'll take 5 out of the 10 complaints. You'll take 1 and you'll follow the whole process and check, yes, this is actually working. And you check that a change was made and you find out why the change was made. This is the value of the data. It's there to analyze, to improve. And you follow up with your clients because that is what you want. The solutions comes from them, right? I didn't get what I wanted, but this is what I would have preferred. If you had to give me this, I would have been even more happy. Oh, that is valuable information. I'm going to give you that next time. Right. That is what we want. And we want to track it and we want to review it over time. And that is what the CRMs does. We use Zoa 1. It has a brilliant system, right? Relatively cheap because you get a whole lot of different solutions, but there's many free solutions. They would normally say, fine, they're going to restrict the amount of data, they're going to restrict the amount of users. But what we're saying is you use it because as you scale, you lose track of these things, right? You lose track of things. And you end up just focusing on the operations and not focusing on the improvements, which is why you're putting a little bit of systems in place. Also automation, you're putting some automation in place. And yes, a lot of customers are using AI bots. It happens everywhere. Right? It happens everywhere. We understand it's good to be able to manage, but people know if they're speaking to a bot or they're speaking to a person. You can tell, right? Even though it's very close. Most people don't know because they speak like a human, but they're not. They're not a human. They are bots, and they mimic humans, and they have responses, and they're automated, right? But you can tell. So yes, it works great for volume. But people ultimately love to speak to people, right? So you're going to contact them, right? Even though you have a bot that is put in place that automates and allows you to deal with volumes, but that personal touch, right, is always valued by clients, by consumers. So even though AI is there, the human touch is always there. You have to contact them directly and speak to them directly. Okay. So what have we covered? We're going to recap quickly. So we've covered how important it is, customer services, not only in building your business and getting income, but building the brand and tweaking your product and your services. That is the importance of customer services. Tweaking, going through the process, handling different types of clients, right? The importance, we've said, of communication, listening to your clients' internal and external, how you work with your colleagues and the people around you is very, very important. You're going to deal with it. And remember, we're saying you as the business owner, you put the standard. You put the standard of what is okay and what is not okay. And the reason why we do this is because if you are three people and you are heading in this direction, but you have one person that is in your organization that is moving in the opposite direction, that can be extremely damaging to your business. And this is what we see. This is what we see every day. We brought in as consultants. We come and assess big departments and organizations that is toxic. It is toxic. And we come in and say, why? Why is this? Because what happens is the organization have the culture of sweeping things under the carpet. This is what they do. You know what? This is not really that important. It's not really that important. Carry on with operations. Let's just carry on with work. Let's not deal with this. But this is the challenge that we find. We put that standard on what is okay and not okay. And I remember one of the organizations, we were called in to a department. It was a toxic department. They called in and said, can we figure out what is happening? Because they're just not performing. So, and I remember one of the the ladies said, she had an issue with one of the senior people in the organization, and it happened in a meeting. I said, "What? Okay, what happened? Explain to me the call." Well, we were in a meeting, and in this meeting, this person just talked down to me and basically said, "We're not really interested in what you have to say." And the person just kept quiet and didn't say anything. But it really affected this person because that person felt like nothing in that discussion. And this is what happened. It was an incident that happened in a workplace, in a meeting, an actual meeting environment. And so I said, okay, fine. How did that make you feel? It says, well, this is how I felt. And I said, okay, great. When did this happen? It happened about two years ago. 2 years. 2 years. This happened 2 years ago. Because here's the thing. When there's conflict and there's issues, it doesn't go away. You can sweep it under the carpet. It doesn't go away. So I asked the simple question. I say, okay, great. When you see that person walking down the corridor, how do you feel when you see the person? Honestly, when I see the person, I feel I want to kill him. This is what the person said. Real. This is real. Feel that anger towards that person 2 years down the line. 2 years down the line. It doesn't go away. It is damaging to your organization. You're moving this way, this person's moving against. Everything that you're doing, that person's moving against you because of something which happened. So it is not an option for you as a business owner. It's not an option. You have to deal with that situation. You have to deal with that situation. So we did deal, and there's no easy way to do it. You're gonna confront the person, and this is what we did. And we asked her, just to give you some feedback on what happened. So we had this session, and we have normally follow-up sessions. So we have follow-ups, not just one session, because it's difficult dealing with it. And she said, no, she can't. I said, you have to confront the person because there's no way. Remember what we do when we resolve conflict. The first thing, what is it costing me? Because what is it costing? It's costing you a lot. It's costing you a lot. It's costing you a lot. No option. There's no option. You have to deal with it. It's affecting the organization. It's affecting everyone around you. Everyone's affected through this. You have to deal with it. Go and see. You're going to speak to the person. No, I can't. I can't. Get someone to assist you. So you got a buddy for support. Great. You go together, go with it, and you're gonna deal with it. Eventually, when you're gonna speak with the person, and this is what they said. You know what? This happened 2 years ago. We were sitting in the meeting, and this is what you did, and this is how I felt. What could the person do? Literally, what could the person do? Couldn't do anything. The person didn't know. It wasn't affecting that other person in the least. That person didn't even know what was happening. It didn't affect that person. What could that person do? The person had to apologize. I'm sorry this happened. I really didn't know that I was doing that. I did that. And, the person apologized because, what can you do? Yes, it was difficult going through that process. But eventually, after time, it was resolved, and that person said, thank you for actually bringing that. I didn't realize that was my approach. And then he spoke to other staff, and they all agreed that he had that way of just had that way about him, and he didn't know, and he used that information to improve. And this is what we want. Right, we have this perception. I remember we have this activity for this person. So we did a team building activity, and we have this activity where they write down on a piece of paper what they perceive this person to be, how they perceive this person, but it's anonymous, so they don't know no one knows who wrote it. We literally take it and we type it out because people actually go and see their handwriting. They go and do investigations. So we take it in and we type it out, and we give them what they call a love letter. A love letter. It's everyone writes what they think of this person anonymously on a paper, and we type it out. We give them their love letter. So for this person, it was very bad. It was very bad because one of our admin person that was typing it out, she contacted us, say, Mr. Smith, can you please come and just have a look? And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, wow, it's bad. This is bad. This is bad. So, and then we had the session with the management. Now we're sitting with them and we're saying, and this person, and now I knew this. I obviously knew the feedback wasn't very good in his love letter. He got his love letter sealed, and I asked him, so what was your feedback on your love letter? And he was actually very honest. He said, you know what? He's at home with his wife that's married for like 30, 40 years, whatever. He's sharing with his wife, and he's telling his wife, he's telling his wife, I can't believe that this is what my staff think of me. And his wife replied and said, you know what, honey, I've been trying to tell you this for 40 years, right? Because in his mind, he just felt that everyone was just very happy, but he just had this whole way about him where he wasn't very approachable. Let's put it that way. Okay. So this is important for you to understand that. And obviously he took it in a good way, and he realized, okay, I wasn't very approachable, right? And he used it to improve himself, and the way that he communicated with the people around him, and it really made a massive difference to that organization. So understanding that and using it to improve makes a massive difference to an organization. We looked at how important building rapport is and building trust, because people buy from people they trust. And this is what customer services allows you to do, is build trust. Because especially if you're in certain sectors like tech, remember, customers engage with you to explain to them how they like things. This is what I like. I like this, this, and this. I like the cherry on top. I like this type of cake. That takes time. So it is easier for them to stay with you rather than go somewhere else where they now need to build a relationship with a new supplier, explaining to them now what they need because you know them already. So it's going to be easier for them to stay with you. And this is why you build the relationship, you build trust, and you understand what it is that their client want, and you tweak what it is that you're offering because it's easier to retain. Remember, you have your clients, but there's 20 other companies trying to take them away from you. This is what happens. It's competition. They're trying to take them away. So if you don't have a customer services process, those clients are going to go somewhere else. They're going to go somewhere else. You know what? I don't remember when last we had a chat with the client. I don't remember when last they sent us any communication, but you engaging with me, you're sending me communications, you're finding out what I want, we're setting up meetings, we're having coffee. Why not? Let me give you a try. I'm going to go away from the supplier and I'm going to move somewhere else because you're getting care. They're getting care. Someone is taking the time to listen to them, to nurture them. And this is part of customer services. It's called nurturing. So most corporate companies have relationship managers. They don't sell. They're not salespeople. They are relationship managers. All they do is understand needs, understand what is going wrong, understand what their challenges are, what's their issues, not just about work. They know their kids' names. They know their challenges at home, the things they're having with their spouses and their mother-in-laws and father-in-laws and this and that. They know everything about them. They are friends. This is it. They are friends. And if that contract, that 5 million rand contracts becomes available, guess who they're going to contact? My best friend that knows everything about me, that's there as a support for me. That is the person I'm going to contact. Here's a 5 million rand, 10 million rand contract. That is the person. That's the purpose of that relationship manager. It's a key part of customer services. And remember, these are companies we're competing against. Bidvest, this is how Bidvest operate. They're nurturing, which is why it's very difficult for you to get into larger corporate companies because they are being nurtured. And a lot of small businesses don't understand what nurturing is. They don't understand. So it's difficult to get in because, these companies are nurturing me. They are buyers for Woolworths. They're being nurtured. You won't stand a chance of coming in as a supplier to be able to supply because they're being nurtured, right? And this is why you need to understand that game they play. It's all customer services. That booths at Newlands, cricket booths, events, galas, this is all part of nurturing their clients. And these are the type of games that we need to learn how to play. So remember, great service turns customers into brand and ambassadors. They build your brand. They build your brand. And this is an everyday job in any business. So we've covered a lot. Thank you very much. Let's see if there's any questions. If there's any questions, please ask it now. What is the name of CRM? Zoho. Zoho is the one that we use. We use Zoho CRM, right? But it's there's many on the market. We use Zoho. It works very well. It's quite affordable. And it's customizable because this is the thing. A CRM needs to link. You want a CRM to be able to link to your social media platforms, your invoicing platforms. So you want platforms that is integratable. That's ideally what you want to be able to manage that. And Zoho offers integration. So multiple applications that can integrate and speak to each other. So that's the one that we use, but there's many on the market. You can shop around, look at what's going to be the best for you. Thank you very much, everyone that is for joining us. If there's any more questions, you can please ask. That's my WhatsApp number over there. You can WhatsApp us. Remember, we are a foundation. We also a QCTO accredited training academy. So if you have staff that needs training, we're able to offer that for you and all your staff. We also provide impact consulting. What is impact consulting? If we come in and we want to do a sales process, at the end you have a sales process, or you have a marketing process, or we evaluate your customer services process. So you have something at the end that you can see this is actually what you've done, and that is impact consulting that we offer. We also have a program where we assist 15 companies per annum, and we help those businesses to grow. If you are ready to scale and grow your business, it's for established businesses that knows their business very well. And we link them with opportunities in corporates and with government to be able to scale and grow their business. And we take on 15 companies. So January, we'll open applications again for another 15 to be able to assist you for a year. So please stay in contact with us and follow our channels as well. I will put it in the chat right at the bottom. It's our WhatsApp channel link. For those of you that is not following our link, please follow our channels. And I hope you all have an amazing day. Is there any questions? I will stay on for another 1 or 2